Are you ready for another episode of Love Shot?
Always,
Oh my
always,
gosh,
honey.
we have got some great topic today,
Yes,
which
we do.
is
Yeah.
dating.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh,
Mm.
that seems like such a dreadful word
It
anymore these
does, doesn't
days.
it? Oh my
I
God.
mean, it just feels
Yeah.
like a bunch of expectations, yet we all
Yes.
want to do it.
Yeah. It is really weird. It is like we all want to do it, and yet it's not fun once you're in the middle of doing it. You get all at the beginning. It is. You're like, oh, I'm doing it, right?
Yeah.
And you get some responses here and there, and boom, 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 and then all of a sudden you realize all those responses are either fake, they're trying to
Oh.
scam me, or or it's just
They want something you're not
yeah,
looking
that you're not
for.
looking for, right? So it's just like
It's like, how do
yeah,
you ever
yeah.
find anyone with that kind of
Oh, and there's
situation?
dozens upon dozens of all these dating apps and dating
Yeah,
websites,
how
and
do
oh
you
my God.
choose? I mean,
Oh,
okay, so I have gone more as I've gotten older over time and
yeah,
experience. I am partnered with somebody. I'm married,
yeah,
but we still have a very open relationship, and so
right.
I can date other people. And I just don't know, like, that whole casual thing, I love.
Yeah,
It serves its
yeah.
purpose. But to actually go and date, like, I don't even know where to begin.
My partner told me it's less than a year. He encouraged me. You could do that. You know, and I was like,
Could do
really?
what?
I could go date solo,
Yeah.
solo. See, and we never. My partner and I never did that at all.
That's
And
really
it
huge.
was huge, and it was so. I was like, oh my God, what a an act of love. That's what it was. It was like it was a love. It was an
Yeah.
act of love that my partner just
What
said,
a
hey,
love language to
yes,
have.
yeah. And so it was really amazing, and I felt amazing when they told me this, and then I was excited and stuff like that, and I dragged my feet for 7 months almost, literally, almost, yeah. So I just started doing
Had I
this,
gotten that
yeah.
card, I would have been like that month. I would have been on finding dating sites and
Oh,
apps and getting my
yeah,
profile set
I
up.
know you would have,
I would have
yeah.
been right there in the mix
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, I was very hesitant. I entertained the idea with my partner, and I was like, okay. And I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And
Lots of thinking.
yeah, and then I thought, well, let me go explore the dating sites and stuff like that. And my first reaction with all of them, I didn't find them. It was just not good. It was just like, oh my goodness. And so it kind of scared me off. And so I
Yeah.
quit. I tried it like a few days, and then I quit. And I thought, well, I'm going to go get involved in organizations
Yeah.
and do things and sports and events and community things, and maybe I'll meet somebody that we could have a natural flow of like get to know each other, and like, hey, you're cute, and maybe we want to do that. I was kind of like old fashioned. I wanted something like kind of organic and authentic. But that's not how it went. It didn't happen that way. I made a lot of friends, but I didn't find
Yeah.
anybody that I was actually attracted to, like that, with that way.
Right.
And so I went back to the dating sites, and I decided, okay, I was like, Olivia, you need to get this. You need to take it serious. Like, if you actually want to do it and
Yeah,
entertain it and see what
exactly.
it's
You got to
like.
do it.
So I thought to
Commit.
myself, yeah, I thought, I'm going to try it because I was given this opportunity, and I'm just like, why not try?
So, how many dating sites did you end up getting on?
Oh goodness, I think I got on probably like six. I think I'm on six
Oh my
different dating
gosh.
sites. I know, right? And there's so
So,
many
are,
more. There's like way more than that, right? And I feel like I'm just being a slacker. And that's what it
right.
makes you feel like, because I'm on six dating sites and I feel like a slacker. You got too many to juggle, and you're back and forth and juggling all these different
That's
people.
like going out every single weekend
Oh,
to
it's
some social event to try to find
yeah,
someone. Six dating apps.
yeah, yeah.
That seems like a lot
Right,
to
and so my
me.
phone's blowing up, right? I'm gonna get notification, 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 and so I started really, really trying this, and I've been doing this right now for because this is all new, all very, very new to me. But it's been about 4 months, I guess, that
Yeah.
I've been when I first got on. Then I took a break, and then I got,
Yeah.
it's been a slow deal. But this past month, I really, really had improved it. I really, really have been putting effort into it, and I'm still getting the same results. So it's like a needle in a haystack.
But isn't that
yeah.
just dating? I
Yeah,
mean,
it
dating
is.
was kind of like that for me.
Yeah.
It was like touch and go, fly by night. You might run into somebody that you hit
Yeah.
it off,
Right.
and then you don't end up ever seeing them again. You're like, I
Right.
so should have gotten their number or
Right.
made plans to do
Yeah.
something else with them.
Yeah, I have situations like that happen when I'm just out, having a good time is whatever, and all of a sudden you meet somebody and it's like I've had natural like flirting incidents that just take place, but nothing ever comes of them. It's just a lot of flirting,
Yeah.
and which I love. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I do love the flirting, and I think that's the amazing thing too, because I do feel more free to flirt. By my partner giving me permission to go date solo. And it's like, it's really made me feel more flirty and be able to really come into myself. And I think that's probably been the most empowering thing,
Yeah.
because I was always very reserved. Even though my partner and I are in an open relationship and we practice poly and we've done different things like that, I was always, I kept the
Right.
respect, in the relationship. And unless it was somebody we were seeing, literally,
Yeah.
I didn't flirt with people like that. I just didn't do that. I was like, no, I gotta be.
I'm a total big
Yeah,
flirt.
I know you
I
are.
flirt all the time.
You're opposites in that.
I flirt just
Yeah,
not intending to,
Yeah.
and it ends up being flirting.
yeah,
I'm a big flirt.
yeah. I know you are. You're one of the biggest flirts I've ever met, Ruby. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it was just it's really a unique experience, and it's a lot of
Yeah.
get your hopes up and then come crashing down too. And I think that's that's what makes it hard with dating in this modern dating. And I think it's also oversaturated by there's so many people
Is
looking for
there
the same thing.
ever such
Yeah.
a thing as an oversaturated dating market?
Well, yeah.
To me, they're like in my mindset, absolutely not.
Okay, you haven't been doing
more
the swipe
variety-
thing.
no.
Okay, I'm swiping, right? I've got 6 apps. I'm swiping. You're like, you swipe, my thumb's hurting and stuff. It's like, this is getting crazy. I'm just swiping and swiping.
to the
And
doctor.
eventually, you'll be like, there's one that's cute. Like,
Yeah.
we'll see if we match. And that's how everything
well,
is
but
now.
Isn't that kind of the same thing in the real world, not online?
Yeah, but my thumb doesn't get sore.
Because true. That's a fair point. That's a fair
No,
point.
you're getting actually some action. When you go out and do social, you're actually getting some actual enjoyment from the socializing. This stuff, when you're doing this.
Well, you hope you do.
Well, you hope you do, right? But otherwise you wouldn't be doing those social events.
Right.
But when you're just on your phone by yourself, just swiping,
Yeah.
you don't really have a social life. And that's the thing too. It takes a lot of time to do the dating thing. So, I've gone through these moments over the past 4 months since I started it of being like,
Yeah.
okay, I was like, I'll try this. I want to try it again. And then you just get, you get on there, you do all that and nothing comes of it, anything, or it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, now you put so much effort into it and then you get frustrated and you walk away from it.
Dating requires
Yeah.
putting effort into
Oh God.
it.
And today's, there's so many things that distract people.
Oh, I know.
And I think that's the other thing too. It's really
I
hard.
get a little
to-
ADD myself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's easy. There's just, so much going on, so much
Yeah.
technology. But that's the experience so far, and I have gone out. I did end up going on a date. A few dates. One date was just, it was more just kind of a companionship thing, but the
Yeah.
gentleman was really, really nice. He bought me dinner.
That's a new
yeah.
thing that I've noticed.
Yeah.
In just, because it's not that I purposely seek out dating other people.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens a
Yeah.
lot of times.
Yeah.
And that's something I have noticed has really changed.
Yeah.
That now dating encompasses people who just want companionship.
Yeah, like asexual dating.
Which I
Yeah.
think that is
Yeah.
totally cool.
Yeah, it's wild.
I think
Yeah.
it's great. And I believe we
Yeah.
both have run in
Yeah.
to those types of scenarios.
Yeah, and I
never
yeah.
would have imagined that the dating scene in today's
Right.
reality encompassed people who just wanted companionship.
Yeah.
And
Rain Dealer.
sometimes, even now, that's all I really want too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it wasn't necessarily, it was nice, don't get me wrong. I did go on some dates with men who just wanted companionship.
Yeah.
And, they were upfront about it from the beginning. They said, hey, I'd like some companionship. And
I think that's the key with it. They
Yes.
said right off the
Yes.
bat, so you didn't get delusioned or swayed into thinking
Right,
it's
right. You
something
didn't,
other
yeah. I
than.
didn't go in thinking it was going to be something other. But what I
Yeah.
did go in thinking was, he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna take you to a really nice restaurant. I'm gonna pay for everything." He says,
Oh,
"You're
he
very,"
was
yeah,
that up
he was that
front.
up front. Yeah, he says, "I'm gonna
Oh,
take
keep a
care of
hold of
everything."
those.
Yeah, and he's like, "I'll take care of everything. I just would love the company of a beautiful woman." I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
you're being sweet on me right now." So I was like, I did. I was like, "Okay." And this is funny because this was the first date I did on the dating apps.
What
The
a
first
great
one. I know, right?
experience.
Yeah, and so it was a good experience. I mean, he was really, really nice. I go on the date, and
Yeah.
at the time I was thinking this may be too good to be true. I'm like, this is a little odd,
It's
but
like somebody pinch
pinch
me.
me,
Is
right?
this real?
It's like I'm just getting to go out to a fancy restaurant, so I show up. I did have a little bit of apprehension, with it and stuff like that. But I went, and he was a complete gentleman, and actually we had great conversation. And he did everything he said he was going to do. He
Yeah.
bought me he bought me dinner and whatever I wanted, and we ended up staying in the restaurant until the restaurant closed down. Having
Oh,
gone,
how
yeah, it was great
nice.
conversation, and it was just that way. And he wanted to say, hey, that's what he was looking
Yeah.
for. So after the amazing date with the
Yeah.
true gentleman who wanted a companion date of just spending time together, it kind of went downhill in the dating thing. I ended up running
I
into
wonder because that's
yeah.
like, in some ways, that is like the dream date.
Yeah, it kind of
In
was.
some
It was.
ways.
He was very charming, and it was a dream date. And but after that, I was running into nothing. Guys that just either wanted to promise like they were going to go out with
Mhm.
you, or they just were like they would flake off, or then they were, oh, something would happen. Something would happen, or you get ghosted, or all these different
Yeah.
things. So guys, this happens to girls too. We all have the same problems.
Oh
I've
my
heard guys talk
gosh.
about this because I've got some guy friends that are like, "Oh, I get ghosted all the time by these women."
Yeah.
I think it's just people. I think
I think it is
yeah,
too.
both
I mean,
people do
that's
it.
been,
Yeah,
it's ghosted. I've been stood up.
yeah, yeah.
Literally
Oh, you
set up a
have?
date. I
Oh my
have.
God, who stands up? Ruby
Even
Day.
I get stood up. And it wasn't the first
Unbelievable.
time, but this was like never happened to me before or since the way
Yeah,
this took
yeah.
place.
Oh my goodness.
So I was really surprised how it went down. But I had been chatting with this guy online, and we finally decided to go ahead and meet up. And it was kind of, I set myself up on a blind date, if that's even possible, because I didn't really know this guy.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like he popped a line, said, hey, I'm interested. I said, hey, let's meet.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very in person kind of person when I date. I like to meet people in person.
Right.
So I show up at the wine bar that we were meeting at, and I arrive early.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really recommend that after this experience that I had.
Really.
Seriously, because I'm sitting in the wine bar waiting for this guy to show up, and like 25 minutes goes by. He's still a no show. And I'm figuring at this point, I've been totally stood up.
Yeah.
Then my phone rings.
Really. Oh
I'm
my God.
sitting in the wine bar and my phone rings. So I pick it
Yeah.
up. It's the guy that I'm supposed
No
to
way.
meet.
No way.
And I thought, well, maybe
Really?
he's calling a little late.
Yeah.
But thought maybe he's calling to let me know
Yeah.
he's running
Right.
late. Something happened and he's on his way.
Yeah.
No. He actually called me to tell me he was around the corner
Oh my
from the
God.
place
What?
we were supposed to meet up.
Oh my God.
And he could see me through the window.
Yeah.
So he was watching me as well and had been the entire time.
Oh, this is crazy.
And he goes,
Wow.
he just called to let me know that
Yeah.
he hadn't officially stood me up because he showed up at the location, but he wasn't going to come into the wine
He
bar.
wasn't going to come in?
He wasn't going to come in at
Oh
all.
my God.
So he's telling me this, and I'm on the phone. The waiter comes up, sees that I'm talking, excuses himself.
Yeah.
I finish up the conversation. I was like, hey, you're here. You can see me.
Yeah.
Why don't you just pop in, say hi? You don't have to stay
Right.
if you don't want to.
Right.
I couldn't even get him to do that
Oh my God.
at all. He was like, no, I'm too nervous. I'm too insecure. You're beautiful.
Wow.
I can see you and you're prettier than you are in your picture.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just really intimidated and I don't have enough confidence to come in and talk
Well, at
to
least he
you."
was honest.
Yes, he was
Oh my
honest, but I was
gosh.
like, you showed up and you
Yeah.
won't even come in.
Wow. What a
So he never came in.
never. Oh my.
Never. So I'm still sitting
Oh,
there in the
wow.
wine bar,
Oh.
totally in shock and a bit
I would be too.
disbelief that
Yeah.
he at least wouldn't come in and say
Yeah.
hi. So I got off the phone with him and I thought, you know what? I'll just call a friend.
Yeah.
I'm here. Might as well turn the evening into something good instead
Yeah.
of just going
Right.
home.
Right.
So a friend of mine lived about 5 minutes down the road and he came up. And this poor waiter, I swear, I'd kept his table the entire time, hadn't ordered
Oh
nothing.
goodness.
So my friend shows up, and I think the waiter thought it was the guy
No.
that stood me up
Really? Oh my goodness.
because he was just
Yeah.
almost
Oh my-
rude to my friend.
Oh wow.
And like really wasn't kind
Oh.
of, dismissed him, didn't really pay attention and, just giving him dirty looks every time I
Yeah.
talked to him. So my friend was like, what the hell's going on? So I had to explain to him
Yeah.
what was going on. I said, I think the waiter's mistaken you for the guy that stood me up.
Right. Oh wow.
So when the waiter came back, I had to explain to him that this wasn't the
Oh,
person I was
goodness.
supposed to be meeting,
Yeah.
that this is a friend of mine who came up to
Yeah.
join me
Keep you
for the
company.
evening
Yeah.
to keep me company.
Oh wow.
And he kind of adjusted himself, but still had just this kind of like, that ain't cool, man. That ain't cool. Anyway, which was kind of nice that the
Oh,
waiter
yeah.
was so
Yeah.
ruffled about the whole
Yeah.
situation.
He was standing
but
up for
I
you,
know.
but he got the wrong guy.
I know,
Oh God.
which was
Yeah.
made it just a comical
And that's
situation.
funny because your friend came up and he's a sweet guy. You got
Yeah,
two sweet guys around you,
exactly.
your waiter
Yeah.
and the friend, and they were both just in this weird. And
Yeah.
the guy who should have got it,
Yeah,
never
never.
showed
I
up.
mean, I've had some strange dates.
yeah,
But never
Oh,
in
wow.
my life have I literally had somebody stand me up,
Yeah.
call me from around the corner, tell me why they can't come in to talk
Oh,
to
wow.
me, and then just take off.
yeah. I've never heard any story even in close like
I
that.
know, it
like
was-
wow.
It was so
Yeah.
bizarre.
That is a bizarre moment.
So, it was kind
Yeah.
of like being ghosted.
oh no,
a-
I don't.
a
That's like a.
Because it's like, really? I mean, I just
Yeah.
wanted to meet somebody nice and
Yeah.
see if we hit it off more than we had in our
Well, he was a ghost not showing up, but yet he was
Right.
calling you, telling
I
you.
know.
But that was sweet that he called at least.
I mean, it
but
was, but it's still, it
Yeah.
was just kind of like, "Ugh,
I got all fancied up for nothing.
man,
Yeah.
I felt so let down.
I bet.
I felt
bet.
so let down.
Yeah. That would be
But
horrible.
the waiter's reaction was priceless
Yeah.
with the whole thing.
Well,
so-
luckily for me, I haven't actually gone on a date, go to a date, and they not show up. That hasn't happened yet.
You're
I hope
lucky.
that
I
doesn't
have
happen,
been
but
stood up
Yeah.
more times than I can even count.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it wasn't that, the other half of them, oh my gosh. It was like going out on a blind date with somebody.
Yeah.
And the first date, they're talking about getting married, having kids,
Yeah.
going and planning all these lifelong, goals and
Yeah.
achievements. And it's like, hey, man,
Yeah.
we just met.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I don't even know you.
That being stood up doesn't sound like fun at all. The kind of standing up that I've had it's like online standing up. I have a little thing I do. I always even when I make plans to have
Yeah.
a date on the day of the date.
I do that too.
I write them. I call them.
Yeah.
Whatever form of communication I have with them, I just drop them a line and says, "Hey, looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing you tonight." Just something like that
Yeah.
to see if I hear back from them. And if I don't hear back from them, I'm not going.
Do you
I'm just
make
not
other
going, girl.
plans?
Do I make other plans?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although it's like, okay, I'm moving on. But it's
Yeah.
not like I just jump ship. But I literally have had guys be like, and they roll right back most of the time, but they're like, oh, I'm nervous, or they come up with some excuse or whatever.
Well, at least they write back.
Yeah, I get some sort of recognition, but it really hasn't happened. That hasn't really happened that much. I've had a few guys that they were talking about going on a date,
Yeah.
and then they just disappear. We actually never made plans. That's kind of the
Right.
ghosting that I get. But other guys that do, we communicate.
Well, that's just a failure to launch.
Yeah, a failure to launch.
It's
right.
just a failure to launch, and that happens
Yeah.
all the time.
I had this one guy who I had been chatting with, and he was like, we had a date set, and we were talking, and we were going to go do it. And I was like, oh, looking forward to meeting you. And all of a sudden, he ends up right. And when I did my little reach
Yeah.
out, he reaches back and says, I got sick. I'm sick. I got the flu. And I was like, oh gosh. And he's like, I'm going to have to reschedule. And I
Yeah.
said, you know what? That's okay. Thanks for sharing and not
Yeah,
sharing, But
exactly.
it was just like, I definitely didn't want to
Not
make anybody
really
sick.
what
But
you
yeah.
want to pick up on a date.
No. And I had that whole scenario happen. And then, and he was out for a couple of weeks or whatever. But then I heard from him, and he was like, I do want to go on a date with you. So I was like, oh, okay. I thought maybe he was just blowing me off with like, I'm
Right,
sick,
right,
I got the
right.
sick thing. But it didn't. And that one worked out. But there was really no chemistry or connection and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing with dating. You go through all this effort just to get a date, right? And that's like a needle in a haystack. But then when you
Yeah.
get that date, you're like, a lot of times, is there even any chemistry to want to be intimate in a way?
Right.
And sometimes, the good conversation is a wonderful thing, but it's like, okay, well, that's great with that. And
Yeah.
the worst is when get a guy that doesn't talk at all, and you're having to pull
those
it
are
out of him.
painful,
Oh my
aren't
God,
they?
that's what I was going to say. This is like, listen to this one, boys. The key to gaining a woman's attention is talk to her. And what I would say is, first introduce yourself, talk a little bit about yourself, and
Yeah.
then ask her about her, because a
Yeah.
woman wants to know that.
But then actually listen.
yeah, listen to her, right?
Don't just
Yeah.
ask her something spaced out,
Yeah.
and then she tries to engage you,
Yeah.
and you're clueless.
Right. Yeah.
Actually
And-
listen.
And if you're actually listening, you pull things from your own life that you can cross relate with to her, because
Yeah.
that creates stimulating conversation back and forth. And so that is
Yeah.
literally what I look for on a date, because you're going to have to get me stimulated in my mind first
Oh, tell me
before you're
about
going to
it.
get in my panties. But that's,
well,
yeah.
the brain's the largest sex organ
It
we
is. I do
have.
know that. I do.
And I
yeah.
am so that way. You stimulate my mind.
Yeah.
The rest tends to follow.
Oh yes, and that's the other thing. When I go on a date, the way I liked to do it,
Yeah.
even with my partner, back when we met and we went on dates, is it's about the whole experience. I want the whole courting phase. I want the whole, let's go on a date, let's gaze into each other's eyes, let's go for a walk, let's do those things, have that stimulating conversation, and then let's have a drink, and then let's work ourselves to the bedroom or the car
Yeah.
or wherever we can find some private space to get to and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so,
Do you still have car sex?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I have recently. Yeah, recently I had some car sex about a few months ago.
I don't
guess.
know if I'm as motivated with that anymore.
Yeah,
I like to have my space.
Yeah, I was
Although an office chair, a couch, a counter,
Oh,
a bathroom
God.
counter,
yeah.
it all works. But for some
Well,
reason, it's like,
car sex
I don't
is
know.
great.
Maybe I just moved past that
Yeah.
phase. Or maybe I just don't have somebody who stimulates me
Well,
enough.
it's not just a person. Here's the thing that happens with me. It's not just the person that's stimulating me enough. It's the surroundings, the moment, the environment. So the night that this happened
Yeah.
here a few months ago, I was out, and I literally, we were having a couple drinks, and we had a little date, and it was like we walked out of the restaurant. late in the evening. It was dark, and it was just there was this rainy, stormy. You could hear thunder in the background, and there was this light.
Love the
Yes, I know.
rain.
And there was a light, little warm, light, misty rain that just started
Yeah.
hitting us, and then it got heavier and heavier, and so we were like, "Let's run to the
So
car."
really what you're saying is you guys were already getting wet
Yeah.
before you ever got to the car.
Oh yeah, we got wet. So by the time we got to the car, we were a little wet. We jumped in the car and then had a good laugh.
Well, you
and
know
then it
you
started
have to
just-
get off
Yeah.
out those clothes if you're wet.
Well, it wasn't that wet, but we had a little like, okay, we're a little wet, and the thunder and the storm just started getting more, and we're
Yeah.
like, well, hey, he was like, I'll take you home, and so we were just going, and for some reason I think those drinks kicked in, and that rain and that
Oh, yeah.
thunder and this whole thing and it's the whole environment, and next thing you know. I'm rubbing my thighs together and I'm looking over and he's driving down the highway and I'm just like, I want that right now. Like literally, he was driving. I did Roadhead.
There you
Roadhead. I
go.
went for it right
Well,
there.
that's different than car sex, full on car sex.
Right. Well, that's true. It is true. But I got it warmed up. I got it warmed up,
Yeah.
and it made him totally nervous because he had never had Roadhead like ever. I'm like, how?
Okay, wait a minute. How is that even feasible?
Yeah, I don't
I mean,
know.
I don't know a single person
Yeah.
who hasn't had
Yeah,
car head.
I know.
Literally.
I would think that's
How is
yeah.
that even feasible?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, there you
I've
go,
even had-
popping a cherry.
Literally, I have had guys go down on me while I'm driving.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have, and so I was sort of surprised that he had never had that, and he got so shook up. He's like, "I've got to pull over" and stuff like that, and whatever. But it was really cute.
Concentration.
So I
gets
guess
a
it
lot
wasn't.
harder.
It was it wasn't full on sex, but that for me it was. I mean, I was still enjoying myself just as much as I was going to later on in the evening, which we did end up having full on sex.
Right.
We just we parked the car because that's that's a little very difficult to do driving down the road.
I've actually had sex with a person still driving down the road.
Oh my God, you have? What is
Oh,
that? Like,
yeah.
what do they call that?
Well, you just angle yourself so that they can look over your shoulder and still see the road.
Oh no. Oh,
you
wow.
you have to have the right kind of
You are-
vehicle to do that. But
You're living
I
dangerously,
have
honey.
once.
Yeah, once.
I do not, for safety situations, do not recommend ever doing
Do
that.
not do this at home.
I was young
Yeah.
and slightly dumb,
Oh,
so to
yeah.
speak.
Oh,
You know,
God.
just young
Yes.
and careless, and I don't know. It was crazy to
Yeah.
even do.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you,
Yeah.
that kind of an adrenaline
Oh
rush,
my God, yeah.
there is nothing like
So
it.
you're in a
That
you like
get
adrenaline
off
rush.
that came
Yeah.
with it
Yeah.
was like, it really didn't matter who it was. It was just the mere fact
Oh
of,
wow.
the on the edge, just
Yeah, on
and
the
then
edge,
being
yeah.
stimulated and
Yeah.
it being so risky.
I have never done that. You just
I've
topped
done it
all.
once.
Yeah.
I've done it once.
Oh my goodness.
And you see, I still have a shit-eating grin after
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And this
yeah.
was years ago.
Take you on a date. Oh my
hey,
goodness.
you know? I told you, I'm
Yeah,
spontaneous.
that's very spontaneous. I thought I was.
I like to
You
go
always,
with the flow.
Yeah, you always top my stories. I think like I said, I always think I'm a wild girl until I listen to you. I come talk to you about your stories, and I'm like, no, I'm not.
And I don't think it's that wild.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey,
Yeah.
this seems like a really good idea right now.
Yeah. Oh God.
And my pussy needs to be filled.
Ah.
So you've got a cock. I like that cock. I know how good that cock is. We got a straight shot. There's no turns.
Yeah.
We're good.
Oh Lord.
There's not that much traffic.
Out on the open
it's
plains.
rated- yeah.
Oh goodness.
It's like, let me just hop over.
Yeah.
And before I did, I looked at him and I said, so do you think you can handle driving while I fuck you?
Yeah. Well, at least you asked.
And he goes,
Oh goodness.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, you want to try? He goes, sure.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened.
Oh wow.
I mean, it
So
was
you-
just
so you had
that
communication,
casual.
which is good.
Well,
Yeah,
because
that's
some
good.
people cannot concentrate
Yeah.
to
That's me.
drive,
Yeah,
and I didn't want
yeah.
it to be a safety issue.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But I have to tell you, still, hands down, great
Wow.
sex.
Wow, 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 wow. That
So I highly recommend it.
wonderful story. My goodness, that's but yeah, I've always loved car sex. I started having car sex probably when I was like in when I got a car.
Well, I
Literally.
think most
Yeah, it was like,
teenagers
yeah,
do
I got a
because
car and that's what
you're
you're gonna do
living
with it.
at home and that's
Yeah.
your
Oh
space
God,
and
yeah.
it's the only your space you have.
Yeah, it is like your space.
It
Yeah.
is.
So having especially when you know you're in high school and stuff like that and having sex, you're like, yeah, that's a good place to have sex, it seemed like, and finding a place to do that. But it was something I did then and I liked it. I liked the aspect of it. It seems like it's a little in public, but yet it's not. Even if you find like a
No
park,
public
but
sex.
oh my God, I have been caught in the car. Well, I have been caught by police.
Yep.
I have been caught
I have
by
too.
park rangers. Oh my goodness, because we go to all different places, and I have
Yeah.
been caught having sex in the car, and there is nothing like that feeling. You're in the middle of having sex.
That's
Oh
the
my
look
God.
of, oh shit,
Yeah.
where are the clothes? How quickly can I get them on? Because I know if I take
Oh
too
wow.
long to open that door or roll down that window, that officer is not going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
They're not happy already. And you hope to
Yeah.
God the ranger or the officer is just totally kosher
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
understanding the situation and you can actually like kind of get out
Yeah.
of the ticket.
Yes. Yeah, I luckily did both times it happened, or we did. We got warnings,
Yeah.
don't come back kind of thing, to here. But there was something, when you drove off and you got your warning, you're like, oh my God, it was like a rush. And it was like, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, you're like, I want to do it again. But it was like, we waited a little bit, I had a partner that enjoyed kind of public type sex and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And, they liked it even more public than me at the time. But I was like, the car worked for me. I could do the
Yeah.
car. The car was like public, but there was also some privacy. So that's why I ended up liking it.
Oh, I'm a total
Yeah.
exhibitionist.
No, I heard.
It so does not bother me whether people
Oh,
are around. I just
yeah.
have to feel safe in the
Yeah.
environment and comfortable.
Yeah.
Or have a partner that I know's got my
Oh,
back.
yes, absolutely. A partner that has your back. I think
Yeah.
that sounds like an amazing podcast talk too sometime. It's a partner who has your back. Because nothing's like that, isn't it? But I tell you,
No.
the rest of the dating experience so far, I think probably one of the best experiences I have ended up having, hands down, was I went on a couple of dates actually, with a couple, and a married couple, and this was not too far out of my norm in the sense of the poly world, and kind of the open relationship my partner and I have. The difference was my partner and I we dated couples, but we did it
Right.
together, and we'd never done that before. And I ended up dating a couple and going on several dates with them by myself, and it was
So
very different.
is it, yeah, I was going to say, what's the experience difference
Oh
between
wow.
trying to find a single person to date versus a couple? Or
Oh wow.
do you run into the same problems? Because I've found people are just people.
Yeah.
And I run into a lot of the same situations with couples
Yeah.
as I do single people.
I've had a handful of that experience as well. I haven't had a lot of experience with couples with
Yeah.
dating solo that way now, but it's like I would say I've had a really good experience with this one couple. And the others, yeah, they're kind of fall into the other category of like the dates. They do a bunch of chit chat, and it just fizzles
Never
out,
gets
or it
off
never
the
really gets off the
ground.
ground. So I haven't
Yeah.
gotten anything else off the ground with any other couples. But
Yeah.
because I had such a great experience with this couple, I thought, well, I might try
Yeah.
to see that. So see about dating another couple, see if there's any interest, and try another experience. But so far, no luck. But I'm still seeing this couple that I started dating,
Yeah.
and we're still having a really great time.
That's
And
awesome.
who knows? I'm excited to see where it actually goes and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And so, but yeah, as far as the experience, it's so wild that it's so different from when I with my partner and we dated couples or singles.
Yeah.
That and then I go date a
Yeah.
couple myself. I thought it was going to be similar, and there's a little bit of it similar, but the entire experience is radically different.
Well, the more
Yeah.
people you get involved, it changes the dynamic and the
Well,
interaction.
the big difference is all of the attention's on me.
Well,
Literally.
yeah, you're a
Yeah.
single
Right.
person,
Yeah.
so
And I'm that unicorn, I
and
guess, for them and something like that. But it's like all of
yeah.
a sudden, all their attention's on me, and it's like, oh, you know,
So are you saying you like you may be a little bit of an attention
no. Well, I'm saying
gobbler?
no. I think I just found out that I enjoy it. I did enjoy that
Well,
experience, and
who
that's what's
doesn't
different.
love the
Well, right, but
experience
that's
like
what's so
that?
different because before it was kind of like me and my partner. We were focusing on people. If we were dating a single, we focused on them, which is what's happening to me.
Right.
Or if we were a couple and we were dating another couple, we focused on them, and then we kind of switched things around if everybody was comfortable with that, and. So it was everybody was sharing and they're moving around instead of,
Right.
but now I'm the position, and I never even thought about how when my partner and I dated singles, how that single must have felt because
Oh
I couldn't
yeah.
even relate. And now, oh my gosh,
It's
and by
like
my
you're getting a whole new
yeah,
experience.
and that's what my partner I had to tell my partner that it's like this, and they were like, wow, it is an evolution. I'm having an
Yeah.
evolution of self awareness, of self uh, understanding. And so it's really
Yeah.
been, it's been a real growth moment for me to
Yeah.
actually be dating a couple. And it's probably been the most rewarding thing I've done in dating
Yeah.
since, honestly. And so I don't know what's going to top it. I'm still out there dating.
It's never about the next one topping
No,
it.
no.
It's just they're all different.
They are different.
They're all very different.
But I'm still out there
And
trying and putting it out
and
there.
I'm still waiting to find
Yeah.
my connection that just clicks
Yeah.
and works.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just it. Finding a connection click.
Yeah.
And that was the thing with this couple. It just clicked. It just worked from the beginning. It was like, wow.
Well, it'd be really
Wow.
interesting to see if it goes long term and
Yeah.
if it changes over that.
Over time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it will
Because
be really
I'm sure
interesting.
they'll find a new thing
Yeah, I
that
know.
ends up,
Yeah.
once they assimilate into
Yeah.
the cycle,
Yeah.
you'll find a new thing, they'll find a new
Right,
thing,
right.
it'll change.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Right now, yeah, we're having that NRE. We're having that new relationship experience thing going
And
on.
who doesn't love
yeah,
NRA?
Yeah, and it's really
Which,
fun.
by the way, if you don't know what NRE is, it's new relationship experience. And we did a podcast on it. So look at
Yeah.
our podcasts and check that one out just to kind of get up to date if you don't know.
And I think that sounds like a wrap.
Wonderful. I am so excited for our next episode of Love Shot.